Hello and welcome to the Temple of Tomes with your host, Indie Comics Jones. Today is July 10th, 2021. This is episode 359. Today's comic is Jules Verne's Lighthouse. Well, it's not really Jules Verne's Lighthouse. It is based on his Lighthouse story. This lighthouse in Jules Verne's universe was actually on the Cape Horn of South America. This lighthouse that's portrayed in this comic is a space station that acts as kind of like a lighthouse in a spot where all the wormholes converge and they kind of guide the ships to the correct entry and exit port to the next galaxy over. Now, we also have a lot of gender swapping in the crew. Right here, we're showing Vasquez, who was a man in the original version. In this version, it's of course a woman who's been married. She lost her husband and daughter in one of the wars, and she was actually a war hero. And this is the creature they call Siren, who's mostly robotic, I believe, but I think there's some kind of human consciousness within. Not really sure. So it's a nice cover, and not that this happens exactly like this. She doesn't get snuck up on. It's actually the other way around. This is issue 2 in the series. The first issue was a recommend. This is still a recommend as well, although I didn't enjoy it as much as the first issue. It comes in at a whopping $3.99, and it's by Image Comics. So let's take a quick look to see who all worked on this. Hopefully I won't butcher the names too badly. Okay, it says something about For Anomaly Productions. Not sure what that is. I think it's Productions. The story is done by David Hine and Brian Haberlin. The art is by Brian Haberlin as well. The colors are by Gerard Van Dyke. The letters by Francis Takenaga. Production is by Hannah Wall and Matt Hansel. Melanie Haggett was the editor, and Shadowline Production is also involved in this book. Not sure what they do. Okay, we get into the action here. At the end of the first issue, we had a regular cargo ship come through the wrong portal because the pirates have taken over the lighthouse and they redirected it to the wrong portal. This cargo ship smashed into an asteroid and broke apart, killing the crew. And the pirates were hoping this would happen because it has a special cargo bay that contains very serious weapons left over from the war. So in the meantime, we find out that Vasquez and her robot pal Moses, they've hidden away in Captain Maurice's secret hideaway on the asteroid Arcadia, where the lighthouse is also set up. And she's going through her PTSD. She has meds she usually takes, but since the pirates took over the regular lighthouse, she can't get to them, so she's starting to freak out and get mood swings and whatnot. And the Moses robot thinks he's got enough chemicals at this hideaway that he can make some kind of sedative to help her get through these mood swings and just general paranoia and freaking out. And he does so, and she gets a little bit loopy. Now they figure out that there might be a possible survivor from that cargo ship, that an escape pod did crash down on Arcadia, so they are going to go out and investigate. And remember, Vasquez is a little bit loopy here. She's kind of almost drunk and has no inhibitions at this point. They take a look over. They see that 2 of the pirates have already arrived at the pod. They have cornered the biological doctor that's on the ship, named Angie Davis, who looks a lot like Angela Davis. I don't think that's an accident, by the way. So we have Siren. This is this creepy thing that was on the cover, and this other alien with them. They got her kind of not surrounded, but just cornered. So she tries to fire the gun. She doesn't know how to fire a gun. So they realize that, and they take her hostage. But just before they do, can take her and handcuff her. Vasquez shoots the gun out of this alien's hand, and then they start talking to them, saying that she's not your prisoner. What are you doing here? And she says, why do you have Philippe's kazoo? Because that was Philippe was the other crew member. I believe she's transgender. That was at the lighthouse when it was captured, and she was one of the prisoners. She's saying we killed her, and that's why I got this special musical instrument. And so that pisses Vasquez off, so she shoots Siren, momentarily killing her. As you can see, she's down for the count, but she will be revived a little bit later because she is robotic. And meantime, the other guy runs off. I can't remember if I think he gets shot too. He gets shot as well. So both of them have been taken down. And then they start talking to Angie Davis, who tells them about the weapons that are actually on the ship. The whole ship has not been destroyed. That was in a bomb-proof container, apparently. So they decide that they're going to go up there and try to set a bomb inside the container to blow it up so no one can get these super dangerous weapons. And apparently the pirates are looking to grab them. So they've been unable to figure out how the pirates knew this ship was coming through, and that's described here, because when they go into the container, they find out that there's actually other pirates on board. In the meantime, Congrey, I think his name is, he's the lead pirate. He comes down, he finds Siren, who's, I believe they're like some kind of weird thing going on between the two of them. I'm not sure what, but he's able to get the ship's doctor to restore her, and she bring her back to consciousness and can tell her what's going on. That's where they find out, Vasquez is up there. As Vasquez and Angie decide that they're going to go back to the cargo hold and try to set a bomb in there. They go there and they find out there's 2 life readings inside. It turns out there's 2 pirates. That's how the pirates knew that the ship was coming through. So they were able to kill the 2 pirates. Angie Davis is showing her the weapons that were there. Vasquez recognizes it because she used to use one of these armed slaves back in the war. And apparently the other set here are even more powerful. However, you could only be in them for 1 hour. Otherwise, you start getting radiation disease. So that part has been established. There's 2 different kinds of Gundam type armor here. So just when things look like they're going pretty good for them, suddenly they realize that the pirates are approaching the cargo hold. They have this crazy idea that they can just float out, and maybe they'll think they're just part of the dead bodies that are floating around the ship as well. So it works for a while. However, Siren, who's been brought back to life, recognizes the one robot here is still active and grabs it, as then Conger ends up shooting it. Then he figures out that the other 2 in spaceships are also still alive and takes them hostage. And he recognizes Vasquez. He recognizes her as the Butcher of Kolar. And she doesn't seem too happy to realize that. And we get kind of a flashback to when she was wearing one of the suits and just butchering the opposition on Kolar. And that's where we end for this thing. It doesn't say to be continued, but I'm sure there's another issue coming up. Okay, and there's an ad for Brian Haberlin here. His artwork looks very lovely. And we get an ad for Alice in Leatherland, with Newsarama and CBR singing its praises. So you might be interested in that. I think I'm going to skip. Then we have, looks like a Thelma and Louise type story, A Thing Called Truth. And this is Jolanda Zanfardini and Elisa Romboli. That'll be issue 1 coming out, I believe, in August. Oh, it says this November. Never mind. Way off. Then we get a number of books that are being done by Image, and more Brian Haberlin books over on this side. And finally, we get the cover for next issue of Lighthouse. So I'm going to stick with it. Okay, here's the blurb for this. This is actually probably explaining what's going to happen in the next issue. The ruthless Congreve and his pirates got their hands on the ultimate weapon of war, then put the whole surviving Lighthouse crew member, Vasquez, on trial for a life, with Moses, the glitchy nanny bot, as her defense counsel. What could possibly go wrong? Now, like I said, there's another crew member, Philippe. They didn't show her being killed. She's transgender, I believe. I think she's actually still alive. So you've got Angie Davis, you've got Vasquez, and Philippe. But we'll find out in the next exciting episode. So for now, I'm going to give this a recommend. Like I said, I didn't enjoy it as much as the first issue, but I thought it was okay. Just not into it as much as I really love that first issue, though. Okay, thanks for stopping by and listening to this review. As always, please like, please subscribe, please leave comments, and we'll see you next time. Got a few more comics to do for the week to wrap up this week. I think I got 3 more or 2 more, I can't remember. So please stop on by. This is Indie Comics Jones from the Temple of Tomes bidding you adieu.